Kia ora koutou I te whānau. Nau mai, haere mai. My name is Sophronia Smith and I'm going to be here today, this morning. It is a wonderful Wednesday in the beautiful Wairarapa. Okay, we're going to start this morning by sharing a waiata, and it is a waiata called Kahau 35, and it was most recently released by a group, a Kahau, and it features Rob Luha, and then after the new waiata, then we'll get straight into our kōrero. Laptop on.
So you got to start.
Konunua koe ana tukua Tapareia tapa Konunua tapa Konunua koe ana tukua Kahawi unga Kahawi aroa Kahawi te manawa Takutanga manawa First place to see the sun Te taira whiti is always on Best be ready for the time of your life Cruising down the highway 35 Tapa, konunua tapa, tapa konunua koe ana tukua Tapareia tapa, konunua tapa, konunua koe ana tukua Kahawi unga, kahawi aroa Kahawi te manawa, takulua norea Pies are the one and only Chutaki ki te hati nati Para, State Highway 35 A tokomaru for a power pie Straight down to Whamara Tamako Baikea Waiweherua Pareireia tapa Konunua tapa, tapa konunua koe ana tukua Tapareia tapa, konunua tapa Konunua koe ana tukua Kahawi unga, kahawi aroa Kahawi te manawa, takutanga manawa Kahawi unga, kahawi aroa Kahawi te manawa, takutanga manawa Kahawi unga, kahawi aroa Kahawi te manawa, takutanga manawa Kahawi unga, kahawi aroa Kahawi te manawa, takutanga manawa
Kia ora koutou I te whānau. You're probably wondering who I am. I am ko Sophronia Smith tōku ingoa. My name is Sophronia Smith. I whānau mai I Wairarapa, so I was born and raised in the Wairarapa in Masterton. Grew up on Stewart Crescent and went to East School, Hiona Intermediate. It was Hiona Intermediate at that time, and then went to Makota College. And I've recently returned to the Wairarapa and specifically to Masterton about 4 months ago. And so I te taha tōku papa on my dad's side, no rā kaipaka rongo mai wahine. I come from a place called Nuhaka in Te Mahia, up on the beautiful coast. And I te taha tōku mama, so on my mum's side, no te Wairarapa. And I'm from Wairarapa, and we have connections to Huranui o Rangi Marae out in Gladstone, and Papawai Marae in just out of Greytown. And it's just I'm thankful to be here today. So I'm here just to introduce myself. In the next couple of months, I have a show or a program, and I'm here to talk about that. Just plug it, let you know that I'm going to be here every Wednesday, and I'll talk a little bit about why I'm here, what my program's about, and at the end of today's kōrero, or my discussion with you, I'm going to be plugging a few things, a few community events that we've got going on. And but tuatahi, I want to tēnei te mihi ki te whānau rātapu I te wānei. So I am wanting to acknowledge the Rātapu family, e te whaia me tō haere oki ai, to our taonga whaia muto. We bid you farewell. Haere ki a rātou e tātari ana mau. Farewell to those that are waiting for you. And kia koutou Jimbo, Bonnie, Jamie, koutou mā, kia koutou, tamatou whakaro. So our thoughts are with the whānau at this time. So back to my program. My program is called Mama E-Preneur Under Construction. And E-Preneur is a person, E-Preneur is slang for e-commerce, and E-Preneur is a person that engages in e-commerce or selling things online. And the title E-Mama, or Mama E-Preneur Under Construction, the title means that I'm a mum that is learning about e-commerce and will be launching an online business. And I chose the word mama to celebrate the fact that in Aotearoa, New Zealand, many women like myself that are mama or mums, that they're entrepreneurs. And so for the next couple of months, my program will talk about e-commerce, different aspects of e-commerce, and specifically about 2 weeks ago, I received a $7,500 scholarship, and the scholarship was from Te Whare Huka Huka and Ka Hau I Te Ao. Te Whare Huka Huka is a social enterprise, and they are Indigenous social enterprise with the vision to improve the lives of 10 million Indigenous peoples. And they work with Māori organisations and Indigenous community leaders throughout the world, not only Māori, but Indigenous leaders throughout the world, and they help them in terms of setting up systems, communication systems, finding clarity on what to focus on, and but they support Indigenous peoples throughout the world. And Ka Hau I Te Ao is an e-commerce program. It's a 12-week e-commerce program. And so I'm a recipient of the $7,500 scholarship. And I didn't have, or I don't have, an online business right now. So the program or the course, to be eligible for it, you could be a WINS recipient, you could have a business already, that wasn't me, or you could have an idea, and so that was me. And so with Ka Hau I Te Ao's support and the 3-month program, I have actually selected a business, and I will be launching that at the end of the 3 months. And in the 3 months, we're going to be learning things like marketing, right now we've been learning about customer life value, things such as offer stacks, and those are new terminologies for me, and they'll probably be new terminologies for some of you here. But through the program, I actually will be talking about those. So, so just a plug once again. My name is Sophronia Smith, and I am going to be here for the next 3 months. My program is 3 months, and it actually starts on Sunday. So for the last 3 weeks, we've been attending online Zooms with the CE of Te Whare Hoka Hoka and Ka Hau I Te Ao. His name is Travis O'Keefe, and he is an entrepreneur. He's won national awards in terms of entrepreneurship research, market research, and he has been in the field of e-commerce for many, many years. And so my program is Mama E-Preneur Under Construction, and I've, like I said, I recently was awarded the $7,500 scholarship from Te Whare Hoka Hoka and Ka Hau I Te Ao. And before I continue, I'm just going to, I was thinking of a, what is it called? I was thinking of this, a waiata, and for the whānau ratapu. And I think before I start talking, I might sing my waiata for Whai Myrtle and Jimbo and Bonnie and the whānau, and then I'll get into talking about my program. So I've brought my guitar along. Sorry. I dropped my guitar just a little bit before, so I should have tuned it up. Mate kaukura karere te manu manga ururu nei karere koe karere rungarawa e katai atu koe ki te taumata whakatau mai rā karere te manu manga ururu nei karere koe karere rungarawa e katai atu koe ki te taumata whakatau mai rā e mauana. Karere pai Tere rungara wara e Rere tō tika, rere pai, rere runga rawara e. Rere tō tika, rere pai, rere runga rawara e. Okay. Once again, that waiata was for our ratapu whānau. We're thinking of you, and yeah, we'll see you over the next couple of days. Okay, so where did this all start? My journey with E-Preneur or e-commerce. As we know, last year, 2020, was an unprecedented year, and COVID hit, and it affected so many businesses and people. And I've been really fortunate that last year I was working for a community-based group, and we're funded by the Department of Internal Affairs, and so I was part of the response to COVID. But I'm aware that many people lost work and businesses had to close down. And then this year, once again, we went into level 4. This year I'm contracting, so I'm a sole contractor, and I was part of the response again, and was supporting our local iwi, kahununu and rangitane, and supporting them with the communications ohu, and getting the communications to our whānau about what was happening, what services were available, what support we could provide the whānau. And so when this was happening, I started thinking about the future of my career, or the future of what would happen if I wasn't able to work anymore. And I started to think about ways that I could start bringing in a different kind of income. And for me, it actually landed on e-commerce. And I was scrolling through Facebook one day. I saw one of my friends had, her name is Sister B, Benita Tahuri, a very dear friend of mine. She had posted on her Facebook page that she had won the $7,500 scholarship. This was last year, and she had launched her business, and she was selling jerseys and a different range of things, and that pānui, or that post, came at the right time, because I was thinking, I'm a single mama, as I said before in the start of my kōrero. I'm a single mama, I have a mortgage to pay, and I didn't want to be in a situation where I was going to be laid off, or I wasn't going to be able to work, and then wasn't going to be able to pay for my mortgage and take care of my my kohine, or my 11-year-old. And so when this opportunity, when I saw the kahau i te ao e-commerce scholarship, I jumped at it. And so I clicked on the link on Facebook, went into it, and had a look at what it is. And it said, hey, you can win this 12-week scholarship, 12-week e-commerce scholarship worth $7,500, and you need to do these 5 challenges. I was like, oh yeah, I can do 5 challenges. And then I read on, and it said 5 challenges. You'll be sent a challenge every day. You read the challenge, and then what you have to do is that you do the challenge for a day, and then you're going to video yourself talking about what you learnt, and then you have to post that on social media, and then be sure to tag in some of your friends. And I was quite nervous about that, about sharing my one about sharing my kōrero via social media, but also about just sharing things like that on social media. And it was kind of maybe a little bit whakamau, a little bit shy, and but I thought to myself, I want this, and so I'm going to do it. And so there were 5 challenges that we had to do, and I'll talk about the 5 challenges. And the 5 challenges were chosen purposefully, or they were real intentional about the 5 challenges. The first one was eye gazing, and what we had to do was, when we talked to a person, and we were challenged to do this when we were talking to like strangers. You know, these are people that we don't know at all, but this was about staring into their eyes when we spoke to them. And so that was the first challenge, and so we had to do that, and then make a video, and then post it on Facebook or social media, and then tag in 3 people that were going to support me during the journey. And so so eye gazing, and these were all called comfort challenges, and what they were doing it was about putting us in uncomfortable situations so that we could start to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And as a Travis O'Keefe, who's the CEO of the program Te Whare Huka Huka, Kahau I Te Ao, and the Innovation Centre Te Whare Huka Huka, he's been an entrepreneur for about 30 years, and he said that as a business owner, CE, being uncomfortable is something that you really have to get used to. And some of the things that I learned during that was that it did feel really, really uncomfortable, but when I was gazing into another person's eyes, what it did help me understand was how they were feeling. So it actually helped me to tune in not only to the words that they were saying, but actually to what were their eyes communicating. And there's that kōrero or proverb that says that the eyes are the windows to the soul. And so that challenge actually helped me to zone into how the other person was feeling. And then I was kind of able to pitch how I spoke, the tone that I used, according to how they were feeling. And so it made me more in tune with the other person, and it wasn't all about me just getting my message across. So the eye gaze. The second challenge that we had was about saying no, and the challenge was that everything that we, any request that we had or anything that a person said to us, we were to say no. And sometimes that's really, really hard, especially if your manager is asking you to do things. But I remember that at that time when we had the challenge, I had a number of people at that time who had contacted me, and they had asked me to sit on boards and to do different work, and it's work that I love. But because I was wanting to have one of these scholarships, and I was trying to create space, I started saying no. And so there was about 2 or 3 people that had approached me, can you be on this board, we wanted you to do this, and I started to say no. And what was really interesting is that at first I felt I had to justify why I was saying no, but that was about me challenging my mind and challenging my thoughts. And then I went to no, thank you for the opportunity, but right now is not a good time for me, but thank you. And so that was really about what I learnt from that challenge was the importance of creating space and time so that you or me, that I can do the things that I want to do. And if I think about saying no within a business context, there'll be often times when we will have to say no. We can't please everybody, and we have to get used to saying no. So that was the second challenge. The third challenge was about proposing or inviting people to be part of the program. And once again, people, when we talk about inviting people, sometimes people immediately think about sales. Oh, I don't want to sell this to my family. I don't want to do this because I feel uncomfortable. And for me, I approached quite a number of people, and I thought they were all women too. They were all women that I respect, I know very well, and who have this entrepreneur kind of streak to them and haven't had the opportunity to launch that, to, like go next level. And so I approached each of them and I said, hey, there's this $7,500 scholarship. Would you like to be part of it? And there was about 4 or 5 of them that said yes. And for me, I turned that feeling kind of like shame because I was inviting a person. I turned that and I reframed it. And for me, it was about sharing an opportunity that is life-changing, that could potentially be life-changing. And and so even though I felt uncomfortable at first, I also felt that it was a responsibility that I had because I had access to this wonderful opportunity. It was my responsibility to be able to share that opportunity with people. And and so that was the third challenge, was proposing or inviting people to be part of Kahau I Te Ao. And as you know, being a business person, it is about making people or inviting people to buy things from you. And so it has to become something that I get used to. The fourth challenge is called the criticism. Oh, no, sorry, that was the fifth one. I will talk about that because I can't remember what the fifth challenge was, but another one of the challenges was called the criticism sandwich, and they call it a sandwich because there's often times where you might have asked somebody to do something and they haven't done it quite as like how you want it to be done, and so you have to give feedback. And so the criticism sandwich, which is what they've termed it, is about saying to a person, hey, you've done this really, really well, and then providing I like to say critique versus criticism, like saying, hey, you've done this really, really well, but I would like this changed. And then once again, ending the conversation with once again, I really appreciate what you do. And that's that sandwich. So the sandwich starts with, if we think of a bun, the bun is the compliment, the meat inside is the critique or the criticism, and then the bun, the bottom bun, is once again a compliment. And so at that time, I had been working with a contractor, and so I'm a sole contractor, and oftentimes I contract people to do work for me because I have a certain skill set, and sometimes I need people to do things outside of my skill set. And so I had asked a contractor to do a piece of work for me. It was incredible. incredible, fabulous, but there were a few things that I wanted changed, and so I said to the contractor, "This is incredible. You've hit this on the mark. But these," and then I went to the meat part of the sandwich, and I said, "But I'd like these things changed. This here, and I gave the feedback and gave the reasons why, and then the bottom, if we think of that bottom piece of the bun, I went to that and I said, "But I think that your work is incredible." And I can't remember the fifth challenge, but what I learnt through each of those challenges was the need to, was about being uncomfortable and starting to feel comfortable with being uncomfortable. And as an entrepreneur, as a businesswoman, that is something that I will get used to or have to get used to. And so I'd done those 5 challenges and had to post them, and I completed them all, and then I got an email maybe about 2 weeks later saying yes, I had been and I had to actually explain why did I want this, and why or how was this program, this e-commerce program, going to change my life. And what was really interesting is that a few years ago, I was living in Waikato, or in Hamilton. I was working up there, and I got a job in Wellington, and my new employer, they shifted me, and I could have moved anywhere that I wanted. Because I was born and raised in Wairarapa, I wanted to live in Wairarapa, not in Wellington, and I decided that I would live in Featherston because it was about commuting to Wellington every day, and Featherston is closer than living here in Masterton. And so I shifted from Hamilton to Featherston, and my older sister that lives here in Masterton, she was able to get me a house and a rental. And so I moved down, and I moved in, and maybe about a week after I had moved in, the owner of the house, she sold it. And it was quite devastating because I had just started a new job. I was gone from home, like catching the train at least 6:30 in the morning, so I could catch the 7 o'clock train. I was home at night 6 o'clock. I was in a new job, and I was thinking, how am I going to find a new place? I'm in Wellington, and at that time the rents were starting to go up, and so anyway, by the time I had to move out, I hadn't found a place, and so I had to put all of my furniture and everything into storage, and for about five or 6 months, my girl and I, we were homeless. We didn't actually have a home, and we actually had to live in a transition home. And for those of you that are from Wairarapa, especially know the sharing shed contractors, you might know John Hodder. And John Hodder is a farmer, and he also is has sharing shed, sharing contracts. And my mum, who was a rousey or wool handler, she was a good friend with John, and John has a farm just out of Featherston, and he had a 1-bedroom, kind of like a 1-bedroom suite, and so it had a 1-bedroom area where we could stay, had a small kitchen attached and a bathroom, and we stayed there. And so when I was thinking about how being part of this program or being part of Kahau I Te Ao would change my life, I thought of that time being homeless with my girl and feeling that I was a failure, and feeling, and I remember, there were nights when I would sit in my room in our one bedroom whare that we had to stay in, and I was looking at homes at that time and working and still commuting to Wellington, and I would cry because I felt that I had failed as a mama. I had failed my girl, and I remembered that, and I thought I never want to be in that situation again. And although I am a sole contractor and I am constantly in work and constantly have work, I want to be in a situation and where I am financially secure. And so for me, being part of the program was about that. It was about ensuring that we were never homeless again. It was about ensuring that my kohine, my girl, that when she got out, she's 11 right now, that she would be set up for life. And so learning from an e-commerce guru such as Travis O'Keefe, it was about that. It was about security for the future. And what was really interesting is that at our very first Zoom, so we started having Zoom sessions every Sunday night with Travis, and it was for people specifically like me who didn't have a business idea, and he shared different business models that took little to no money to set up, and I'm going to talk about those. I'll talk about those three models that he shared. But Travis mentioned that over 1,000 people had actually applied for the scholarship, and so it was about maybe 1,500, but only about 150 to 200 people actually completed the 5 challenges. And they didn't finish for a number of reasons. Some of them it was fear, because some of them it was that they weren't quite ready. It might be that they realised they didn't have the time to commit to do the program, and so those of us that were part of the program and those of us that actually completed the 5 challenges, we demonstrated from doing those 5 challenges that we were ready to do this program. And so that's how I actually qualified for the program, is that I completed all of the challenges, the 5 challenges. I put them online. I tagged in people, I recruited people, I shared my why and how is this going to change my life, and I'd done all of those things, and really I'm hungry for it. I'm hungry for it, and I want a different life going forward. And so our program starts on the 3rd of October, the Sunday. It is completely online, and we have 2-hour Zooms every Sunday, and Travis facilitates the Zooms, and then during the week we've been put into groups, and we have team leaders, and we will have an opportunity to meet with our group, and we're given tasks, and then there is an online platform that we go into, and there's tasks that we have to complete. And so through the program there's about 12 hours of work that I will be doing each week, and it's 12 hours for me because I'm setting up an online business and also doing the program. Some people, as I mentioned before, already had a business, and so what they were doing, why they were doing the program, is that they now wanted to know about how to scale their business and take it online and take it global. And but I'm in a little bit of a different situation, and I committed to doing that because that's how hungry I am for it. But in the last 3 weeks, Travis has shared with us three products that anybody can sell online, and I'm going to talk about those three products. And they're products that you don't need any money to actually set them up, but what you do need is lots of time, because each of these products, they have these details that you need to understand, and also one of the key things that he constantly talks about is having a product and putting on a website is not enough. That is not going to get sales. And so I'm going to share the three models. The first one was coaching. And coaching is the first thing is that you don't need to have a certificate in coaching or have completed 10,000 hours to be a coach. But what you do need to have is for talking to people. This is not a product for you if you don't like talking to people. I love talking. I love talking with people, and also I've had an education background. So my career has been in tertiary education as a lecturer, as a manager, and in the area of research. So and leadership, and so I've held a range of roles in education, but I love to teach and I love to speak to people. So one, you have to identify, is this for you? Two, identify something that you love doing and that you're really, really good at doing. Some of the people in our group, they're karate experts. Some of them are singers, some of them are guitarists, and they're going to be sharing those skills online. The key things to know about coaching is that you have to know your customer avatar. A customer avatar is who is your client? Who are you going to be selling your services to? So for example, I want to teach people how to make Māori bread. And I want to teach them how my hacks, and because people always come to me and they buy Māori bread from me, and it's because it's fluffy, it's sweet, it's yummy, it's all of those things. And people in Australia, so we have lots of whānau in Australia, and they have moved over there. Some of them they were born there, and so some of them haven't had the opportunity to learn how to make Māori bread in the same way that I did from my mum, who learnt from her grandmother. And so I might say that my customer is going to be, I'm going to focus on whānau living in Australia, and they're going to be whānau that I've seen I might find these whānau on Māori food Facebook pages. So we have Kairua, there's Wux, there's a whole range of Māori food channels or Facebook pages, and I might find my customer on those channels. And so it's really important, one, to have a clear customer avatar, know who it is that you're going to sell your product to. So I'm going to be selling or going to be teaching people in Australia how to teach Māori bread, and what is going to make me stand out is that I'm going to be solving a problem for them. And a problem that a lot of whānau in Australia have is that the products that they have in Australia are a little bit different to the ones here. I've also lived in Australia. I lived in Sydney, and I also lived in Brisbane, so I'm very aware of the products that they have over there. And so one of the things that I will do, or my hacks, is that I'll be able to tell them, you don't have to have the New Zealand products. This is what you can use. And I've practiced when I lived there, and I've been able to make Māori bread, yummy, delicious Māori bread, using these products. And so those are going to be the things that make me stand out. But for whatever your niche is, or whatever it is that you love to do, you have to have a real clear idea of who your customer is, and that helps with your marketing. It helps you find the people so that you can start identifying what their problems are. And one of the hacks that we've been given is, so wherever your customer exists, so they might be on all of these Facebook pages, go and see what they're talking about, or if they're buying something from a person, you want to look at the reviews, and especially if if they're giving 1 to 3 star reviews, and you want to see why they're giving 1 to 3 star reviews. And it might be that they have a problem, and then me as a business person, I'm going to be sure that my product, that it solves their problem, and I'm going to be very clear in my marketing and in my communications that I say my product or my coaching solves this problem. And so customer avatar is really, really important, and solving your customers' problems. And but it has to be very, very clear from the get-go. And what you want to do also is learn from your competition. So like if I go back to the Māori breed example, I want to find who else is teaching Māori bread online. And I know that there are a few people already teaching that. And so I want to learn, what are they doing well? And I want to learn from them, because you don't have to create the wheel again. It's already been made. But what you're going to do is you're going to create something that is unique and different and makes you stand out and gives value to the customer. So that's coaching. So I've talked about coaching, but also talked about some of the hacks or some of the tips and things you need to consider if you want to do coaching or sell coaching as a product. The second thing that he talked about was selling someone else's product. And this is really good if you have a family member, a cousin, an auntie and uncle who already has an established business and a product to sell. The key thing that you need to have is an agreement, a written agreement that says how much money you will get from each product that you sell, when you will get your money, and all of those things. And an agreement requires a lot of trust between you and the owner of the product. Once again, you have to know who your customer is, and what you want to do is that you want to make people buy things from you. And so that's why it's important, one, to know about your product that you're selling, but also know who your customer is. And then you want to be adding value, and you want to say, okay, I'm selling these shoes, and if you there's a way that you can make people buy things from you, and there's a technique that is used, and it's called an offer stack. And an offer stack is when you combine different products together. So let's say I'm going to be selling a product. It's pants, and they are pants that you're going to be, tights that you're going to be wearing at the gym. And I'm going to say to a potential customer, and if you buy a pair of these tights or these gym pants from me, I'm going to add in a 1 month free membership to Trust House Gym. I'm going to add an ebook that tells you about the best exercises to get a firm butt, or whatever you want to do, and it's going to have a checklist of things that you need to do to keep your tights in good condition, but also to get your body into good condition too. And so you want to be sure that so you have to have these things already sussed out. The key thing is that you want people to buy from you, and you need to add value, and you add value by the offer stacks, or the combining different products to people. So that's just a little bit about selling other people's products. The key thing to remember is that the person who owns the product takes a cut of your whatever you sell. So you have to remember that, and it's really important that you have that agreement and that you're happy with it. So you have to be very thorough, or get somebody that is maybe an expert in agreements to look at it and be sure that it's a win-win. Okay, the third model that he talked about is print on demand. And this is really good if you are an artist, or you're an artist and you create logos, or you might be a Māori design artist, a graphic artist, and what you will do is, with the print on demand, you don't need any money. You don't need to have any product. And the good thing about this, print on demand, you don't need the product. You don't need to sell or spend thousands of dollars on a product that you don't know if it's going to sell. But what you do have to do is know who it is who is your client. And when you know who your client is, it means that, because you're not designing for yourself, you're going to be designing a product that a group of people connect with. And so it means that you have to know what is this customer base, what are they passionate about? It might be things such as mana motuhake, it might be things such as Black Lives Matters, it might be the environment. And so how this works, the print on demand, is that so let's say you want to print a t-shirt, so you'll create your design, and you might partner with a company who can print your design onto a t-shirt. So for example, Printify. So they'll print the design onto your t-shirt, and you tell them what sizes, what colours, all of those things, and then you'll sell your product on Shopify. So Shopify is an online shop, and people they'll scroll through, they'll see your t-shirt, and they'll say, oh yes, I want to buy one of those. The thing about print on demand is that unlike having, if you have product, you can send it straight away, and because you've got it, and people might get it in 3 days. But if you are working with an overseas company, you have to tell your client that their product won't get to them for about 2 weeks. You have to be really, really clear about that. Otherwise, people will get disappointed. Okay, and so those are just very, very briefly, I've talked about 3 different products and 3 different models that you can start selling online. The thing that you need to be aware for each of these products is that you need to have a marketing strategy. You need to know who your customer is. You actually also need to have your systems in place. So like everything is automated. You don't want to have a whole range of people emailing you and you're answering 100 emails. Everything is automated, but you have to have those systems all set up already, and it makes it easier for you as the business owner. Another key thing that I want to leave with is, because I know that it's nearly 10 o'clock, but another key thing that I want to say is that there is a cycle that a lot of entrepreneurs use, and it's called create, test, and iterate. Okay, so you're going to create a product and you're going to test it. You're going to test, do people want it or not? And just remember, when you're creating a product, you're not creating it for yourself. You have to create it for your customer, because you want your customer to buy your product. So create, test, and iterate. So the iterate is, if you find that you've created a product and people aren't buying, you have to know why. And then what you're going to do is that you're going to change that product and you're going to tweak it. And then you go through that cycle again, test, iterate. And all the while through, you're learning and then after going through that process, you actually will find out what your customer wants, but that takes time. So yeah, I think that's a lot for today. In today's session, I've talked about my program. So I'm going to be here every Wednesday. Mama E-Preneur Under Construction. I've talked a little bit about Ka Hau I Te Ao program. It's a 12-week e-commerce program. And each week, I'll be coming each Wednesday, 9 o'clock. I'll be coming in here and I'll be talking about what I've learnt the past week in my e-commerce course. I'll also be talking about the things that I'm learning as I look, because I'm launching my online business as well. So there will be a little bit about my business, and then there'll be a little bit about e-commerce and some of the hacks or the tips that you need to know if you want to actually break into the e-commerce domain. I'm going to leave with this. This is something that Travis always says to us. There is so much information on YouTube, and the key thing that I would say is start thinking about a product. I've talked about 3 products that you can sell. If one of those resonate with you, so there was coaching, there was the selling another person's product, and there was the print on demand. If one of those resonates with you, or you think, I can do that, go on YouTube, start finding who is doing this, and you would find out, you can often find out who is kind of like a guru by how many followers they have. So if you find a person that has 1 million plus followers, and you look at the comments and people are saying this is amazing comment, they would be a person that you would want to follow. Start learning as much as you can. You don't need to invest thousands and thousands of dollars doing a program. You can if you want, and if you have that time. I don't have the time, and I am thankful that I have Travis O'Keefe and the Ka Hau I Te Ao program, who will mentor me and train me and give me the coaching that I need. But that's me for today. Join me again next week, next Wednesday, and I will be sharing more tips. Oh, hang on. I did want to plug a few things. So in my day job, my contract that I do, I am the Paurerenga Pānui, and I do communications for Kahununuki Wairarapa and Rangitani o Wairarapa, specifically in the area of hauora or health. And this Sunday the 3rd of October, we have a hauora clinic. So it's a pop-up hauora clinic. Hauora is health clinic. So we have a pop-up health clinic. We're going to have nurse assessments. You can get vaccinated if you want. We're going to have kiorahi, and we're going to have food there. So come along. It's from 10 to 3 o'clock. It's a free event, free kai. We would love to see you there. Come up to me if you've listened to this and you have any questions. I'll see you there. Kia ora koutou.